All right, today I want to talk about the number one autoimmune condition in the world, and that's called Hashimoto's. So Hashimoto's thyroiditis, really, if it goes down to an autoimmune, means your body actually attacks yourself. Now, one of the main symptoms that people get with Hashimoto's is that they're tired, and sometimes they sleep 8 to 10 hours, and they're like, "I'm still tired." They may not even have a lack of, or they may even have a lack of motivation because sometimes it can affect the nervous system. So if you get inflammation in the front part of your brain, you tend to lack motivation. You tend to not be able to finish tasks. So there's other or tasks. There's other reasons those happen, but those are some of the big that are there. In thyroiditis or Hashimoto's thyroiditis, a lot of people have brain fog. There's inflammation that's going on. That doesn't mean that's the only thing that can cause brain fog, but it's something to take a look at when somebody comes in. Which means when you have brain fog, you have difficulty concentrating, you have difficulty making decisions. Maybe your memory kind of stinks, and it could be short term or long term, but it's not the way it used to be, is kind of what we're looking at. If you always had poor memory, it's probably not Hashimoto's, just this is a side item. Some people have hair loss that comes along, and this could be maybe your hair is getting thinner, or worse, it's becoming brittle and breaking, or it's just literally falling out. There's other things such as excessive hair shedding that can be bad, or maybe you're losing part of your eyebrows on the outside. These are things that tend to lead to, hey, these are symptoms that might be part of hypothyroidism. The most common one of those, like 90% of it, is Hashimoto's thyroiditis. You could also gain weight. Maybe you do dietary changes and you work out and you're still gaining weight. Hashimoto's has the ability to do that. It can block the ability for you to digest food, which makes you food sensitive to, let's say, gluten and dairy and other foods. It doesn't allow you to break down foods called when you take protein and you break it down into amino acids, maybe you don't make enough stomach acid anymore. It also likes to go to the gallbladder and really affect how your bile system works. So a lot of people end up having their gallbladder removed, not knowing that they even have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. It's secondary to what's going on. And when they don't digest fat, they get dry skin, they get brittle nails when they don't digest protein. You get hair that falls out when you don't digest protein. And then, of course, because of all this, it can lead to potential infections because you're not digesting things right. So let's say you had food and it had food poisoning on it, and probably that happens more often than you know. But if you have the right digestive system, your immune system, digestive system kills it. But if you don't, you tend to have chronic food infections as it goes along. Some people get swelling in their neck. Some people get a very big swelling in their neck that's called a goiter. They could have hoarseness or a change in their voice. They can also have snoring that's going on, or swelling that's unrelated that they don't have any idea about. But all these things we call are diagnostics that help us get to why you have these issues. Now, if you have any swelling in your throat, of course, there has to be a diagnostic ultrasound that goes along. A lot of people do have another big symptom is they have cold hands and feet. Now, again, that can be vascular and other things, but Hashimoto's can affect the vascularity. Most people don't pass away from Hashimoto's thyroiditis. They pass away to complications due to it that is consistent chronic inflammation that generally gets to the vascular system. And that's where a lot of autoimmunity is a bigger deal. You don't die of the autoimmunity, you die of the side effect, which ends up being an infection because your immune system can't keep up, or cardiovascular disease. So that's why they're still the number one killers in the world, but these are what causes them, or can be a cause to your condition. Now, Hashimoto's is an autoimmune disorder, and again, the number one autoimmune disorder in the world. The immune system gets revved up, it attacks your thyroid tissue, and then it can go and attack other tissues. It's not just stuck to your thyroid. Hashimoto's can be systemic, so you can get other autoimmunities called polyautoimmunity. Like you can get Raynaud's, or you can have rheumatoid arthritis, or you can have Sjogren's, or you can have celiac, secondary to Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and vice versa. They just become systemic and they attack things. So reversing an autoimmunity and getting it to go into remission starts with what in the world caused it. Where did you start with? What's driving it? What's your inflammation? And being able to find the plan of attack to get it reversed and find out what's going on. So we see, because it's the number one autoimmune condition in the world, we do see quite a bit of Hashimoto's cases in our office. We've had a very good job of getting them to remission. And it's working through that process and making sure that we know exactly what's happened. And by the way, finding out what was the main trigger to start this in the process. So maybe it was a car wreck, maybe it was an infection, maybe you went on birth control, maybe you took Accutane, something like that, that changed and drove what was going on in the body, and that makes a big difference there. So finding out what's going on is huge, and that's what we do in our office. And I hope if you don't see us, I hope you find somebody who does do that for you. I'm Dr. Trites. Be well.